괜찮아?
In the previous episode, Yoon was still shocked when he heard that Hye-in only had 3 months left. Yoon was very surprised, and he didn't think he would live without Hye-in, because he couldn't live without Hye-in. Then Hye-in invited him to die together. Yoon was even more surprised to hear a sudden question like that. Yoon just laughed, because Hye-in always made terrible jokes. Then Yoon hid the divorce agreement paper. Hye-in said that when Yoon refused to go together, she ended up going to the hospital by herself. While in the hospital lobby, she looked at the clock, and suddenly it seemed like she was in a snowy place. And then she sat down, and in front of her there was a doctor talking to her. Hye-in was confused because previously she was in the lobby. Why was she suddenly in the room with the doctor? It turned out that Hye-in had previously experienced a similar incident. She often forgot and even forgot important promise with Yoon. Hye-in thought it was just because she was exhausted because she didn't feel any physical pain. The doctor explained that Hye-in had a rare tumor that caused temporary memory loss, and if it got worse, she could get hallucination or personality disorders. Because of the tumor cells have spread, using drugs does not have much effect, and it's too risky if surgery is involved. The doctor also said that this disease could not be cured, and also said that Hye-in only had 3 months left.
석 달 정도.
Hye-in is confused about why she could have this disease, even though she always looked after her health. She also does yoga every night to avoid stress. Yoon asks Hye-in to calm down and invites her to go back to the hospital with him. Hye-in felt very restless. Yoon also thought he wouldn't be able to sleep tonight. But what happened was the opposite. Yoon slept very soundly and felt very refreshed when he woke up in the morning. Strangely enough, Yoon was humming and smiling, and he was trying to put a gloomy face because his wife was sick. Then Yoon went into Hye-in's room and saw her on the bed. He tried to wake Hye-in up, because Hye-in usually wake up at 7 o'clock, but Hye-in still doesn't wake up. Then Yoon checked her pulse, and when Yoon approached, Hye-in suddenly wake up. Then Yoon kissed Hye-in and said it was a good morning kiss. Hye-in saw Yoon's bright face and thought Yoon was sleeping soundly, even though Hye-in had trouble sleeping all night. Hye-in said that Yoon had to keep this a secret, including from Hye-in's family. They can know because soon Hye-in will join the 1 trillion club. Her grandfather would give her a supermarket if sales were over 1 trillion. So she didn't want to mess up because her illness. So Chol met his grandfather, but his grandfather is angry because Chol has an excess of 8 billion. And if Yoon is not there, the money will disappear. It turned out that Chol's brother-in-law is the financial director of the product managed by Chol. His grandfather asked Chol to fire his brother-in-law. Chol is speechless and has a panic attack. Yoon takes a lunch break with his friend, Kim Young-ki. He risks his life against the queen to defend his friend divorce from Hye-in. Then Yoon said that he wasn't getting a divorce. He was confused about why Yoon changed his mind. Yoon wrote a message on paper and asked him to meet Yoon somewhere. It turned out they went to the parking lot. Yoon whispered something into his friend's ear. He was shocked to hear that. He was confused about what to say. He asked Yunwoo not to show happiness. Then he also asked Yunwoo to be nice and charm Ye-in for 3 months. Because Ye-in could revive her will and will give her will to Yunwoo. Yunwoo didn't accept it because he wasn't mercenary. But then Yunwoo brings a bouquet of flowers to Ye-in. Because today is their wedding anniversary. But Ye-in acts flat and confused by what Yunwoo is doing, which is different from usual. While eating, Yunwoo also moved to sit next to Ye-in, and he also peeled shrimp to Ye-in. When Ye-in cooked, Yunwoo also acts extensively, even though Ye-in was just choking on water. Another sweet thing Yunwoo did was give Ye-in his jacket and warm Ye-in's hand. Ye-in's assistant is confused to see Yunwoo, who is different and really pays attention to Ye-in. Ye-in asks Yunwoo not to be dramatic and excessive. At family dinner, her mother said she would sue Ye-in because she had built a market on her land. Ye-in felt it was unfair because her mother had previously given permission when the building it hadn't been built yet. When Ye-in and her mother were arguing, Yunwoo suddenly interrupted her mother's word. Yunwoo will process this, and if the media find out, the stock price could drop because of that. Then they left the family dinner. Yunwoo held Ye-in's hand, and Ye-in asked why Yunwoo is defending and looking at her lovingly. That Yunwoo is the most suspicious. Then Ye-in asked Yunwoo to act normal.
안 되는 건 안 되는 거야.
Yunwoo drinks with his friend. He feels frustrated with Ye-in's attitude. It is very difficult to soften her heart. The friend said that they just forgot because they hadn't cared each other for 3 years, and the love had disappeared. Husband and wife feel disappointed because it doesn't match what they expected before they get married. So if you want to be in love for a long time, it's best not to get married. Ye-in father asked his wife not to be cruel to Ye-in, lest the past haunt her. It turned out that her mother had a child named Suwon, and the child died. Then who really is Ye-in? Why is her mother being cruel to Ye-in? Yunwoo was worried about Ye-in because it was late at night, but she wasn't home yet. He remembered that the doctor said that even though Ye-in's chain of the recovery was small, a miracle always happened. That made Yunwoo curious and found out about it. Until finally he fell asleep and Ye-in went into his room. When Ye-in wanted to wake Yunwoo, she saw the laptop screen about the miracle of recovering from illness. Yunwoo woke up and was surprised to see Ye-in beside him. Actually, Ye-in was suspicious of Yunwoo and thought Yunwoo would be happy to hear that Ye-in was seriously ill. Because when Yunwoo are nice to her, maybe Yunwoo have another ulterior motive. But after seeing Yunwoo find out about the miracle, Ye-in becomes strong and asks Yunwoo not to worry. Because of all the people, there is one person who wants Ye-in to live. That person is Yunwoo. So Ye-in became enthusiastic and emphasized that she would not die that easily for Yunwoo.
절대 쉽게
Ye-in attended an event, namely the launch of the shop called Hiroshima. Ye-in also wants to approach David Yoon with the Korean name engsub, a person who controls Middle Eastern oil money and is looking for investors. But suddenly an old friend came. She quipped that Ye-in had come alone without a partner, while many of the other guests had brought their partners. Ye-in then called Yunwoo and asked him to come, but Yunwoo was in court. Ye-in returned to the event, and suddenly her friend calls Eun-sang. It turned out Eun-sang is Ye-in's old friend. Ye-in once asked Eun-sang not to contact her again because Eun-sang had crossed the line. But now Ye-in is asking Eun-sang to help so that the Haesuna shop can enter her market. And Eun-sang is someone who is close to the owner of the shop. Eun-sang just smiled. Ye-in tried to contact her husband. Then when someone nudged Ye-in, it turned out that Yunwoo was already beside Ye-in and holding her arm. Then Ye-in introduced her husband to the shop owner and Eun-sang. Eun-sang gave Yunwoo a drink. They talked. Eun-sang said that he and Ye-in had a good relationship in the past, that Eun-sang really liked her. But Yunwoo's attitude was normal without any jealousy, and that made Eun-sang wonder whether Yunwoo didn't care or really trust Ye-in.
저 자식이.
Yunwoo saw his wife with Eun-sang. Ye-in looked happy with him and made Yunwoo feel jealous.
안면이라도 터볼까?
The chairman of the Queens invited the family and also Eun-sang to hunt in the Queen's private forest area. But Eun-sang is always close to Ye-in and his family. Finally, Ye-in hunt with Yunwoo. She asked Yunwoo to cut something in this hunt. Then the two of them separated and Yunwoo tried to find Ye-in. Suddenly Yunwoo heard something and it turned out to be Eun-sang. Yunwoo was shocked because Eun-sang entered someone else's territory and it was very dangerous, and asked him to leave his territory.
알려달라고 그러셔가지고.
When Ye-in saw the bird, her hand trembled as she wanted to shoot the bird. She felt that there was something strange about her, like she was surrounded by fog. Suddenly a white boar ran towards her. And then Yunwoo came and shot the boar.